So today we're going to talk about 3 things that are really important for setting up the space in your home when you are interviewing a family member. I've also got a bonus tip at the end, which is a bit of fun, so stay tuned. Tip number 1. Make sure when your interviewee is seated that they're comfortable with where they're sitting. Have them sitting somewhere where they're not going to be sort of slouched. I'm sitting on a stool at the moment, so that's quite good for keeping your posture straight. But they could sit on a couch as long as they're not slouched back into it. Wherever they feel comfortable is the best place for them to be. So you may not know this, but we all have a good side for taking our photographs. It's fairly subtle, so if I look slightly to my left, over my left shoulder, it's a different view in the lens to if I look to my right. And I have a preference for which of those I prefer. I think personally that looking slightly over to my left is a better, sort of more symmetrical view for me, but it's different for everyone. So test it out with your loved one, see what they prefer. They may not care, and that's fine, but if you want them to feel really comfortable, it's a good way to show them how they can look on the camera before you get started. You also want to tell them how you're going to run the interview. So let them know that you can stop when they're needing a break, that you don't have to do everything in one take. We can cut the video at the editing stage, and all these things will help them just relax a little bit more and give you some really nice authentic conversations as you do your interview. Also make sure they haven't got bits of hair sticking up or spinach in their teeth. All those sort of simple things that you may not notice if you're not careful when you first start filming. Also check for any background clutter. So for example, behind me there's a fairly simple background. I've just got a table with a plant on it. No papers or anything lying on the table. So just check those sorts of things before you start filming as well. You may wonder whether it's better to film inside or outside. I quite like a combination of the two. Just be careful that the natural light that's in the middle of summer, for example, outside can be quite harsh on people. So be careful that you don't get them in a harsh light or with shadows when you're outside from overhanging trees and things like that. The best light I find is just by a window inside. So for example, there's a window right in front of me here that's shining natural light onto my face, and I've got a light on behind me just to give a bit of warmth in the background. So simple things. I'm not using any fancy lights today, simply the sunshine coming in the window and a light behind me. Tip number 2. Avoid interruptions. There's always going to be interruptions if you are not prepared for it. So remember to switch your cell phone to silent. Remember to turn off TVs and radios, washing machines, dishwashers as well is another thing that people forget about that can be going on in the background. So remember to do that, and ask the people in the house, if you've got people in the house while you're doing the interview, ask them to please not disturb you. Particularly if you've got young children, you may want to get someone to take them out somewhere for the day while you're filming. But when you're getting into the flow of an interview, you don't want to be interrupted, so that the flow is nice and authentic if you keep going. Tip number 3. Have your camera steady, preferably on a tripod. If you don't have one, you can buy one fairly cheaply these days. If you can't get a tripod, or you just don't want to bother with that, you can use lots of homemade objects from around the house. Things like a bag of rice sitting on a pile of books works really well, and also paper cups and even hair clips. So my bonus tip for you today is to get your loved one to do some warm-ups before you start filming. This can actually be quite a lot of fun. Now, I don't mean, star jumps, although you do want them to be reasonably warm in their body, so perhaps just get them to sort of shake their arms out to relax them. But the best warm-up is the voice warm-ups, so that they're ready to talk and their voice will be nice and smooth. A good voice warm-up is using a riddle, and there's a riddle that I use with my clients that works really well. They repeat a phrase: red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. And it's a tongue twister, so it gets all the muscles in their mouth moving. There's other words that you can use. If you want to Google, you'll find lots of tongue twisters that you can try. Anything like that will help warm up the voice. is good to do. And another thing you can do is get them to do a big yawn and then a big sigh, and that will open up the vocal cords as well. Singing your favourite song works too, and that will also be quite fun. Do you have any tips that you would like to share in the comments below? Things that have helped you get someone to relax on camera? Please share them below and let us all learn from each other. It's always good to know what other people use to help people relax in front of the camera. So I hope this has been useful to you. Those simple things will make your interview go so much more smoothly, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video and helping you save more family memories. Bye for now.